Cassidy, you ass. Punch my partner?
Nice to see you too, Olivia. It's been a long time. You look good.
Wait, you know this guy?
Used to work SVU. Last century. And now you're moonlighting for Bart Genzel. He mentioned the dead girl at his party?
Might have come up.
And you couldn't give us a call?
Hey, I've been under for 3 years. I'm not gonna jeopardize that.
Wait, for a murder charge? Sex trafficking?
We all have our marching orders.
Yeah, so do we.
In New York City, sexually based offenses are considered especially heinous. These are their stories.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Munch My Benson. My name's Adam. I live in Galveston, Texas. I am joined on the line by Josh. How you doing out there in California, Josh?
I'm doing terribly right now.
Yeah.
I'm working, roughly 90-hour weeks.
That's dumb.
Yep. But it's cool because I'm non-union on a weekly salary, so, I'm making less than minimum wage.
Yeah, they're looking out for you, though, right?
I don't think anyone realized that my job was going to be this time-consuming.
One of the things I've enjoyed about editing these podcasts, Josh, is kind of going back and seeing a snapshot in time. So the most recent one I've been working on, we recorded it in mid-June, right before my son was born. And at that point, there was a lot of stuff going on in the news. That's when the George Floyd protests were just kicking off, and there was lots of action going on. Well, when we come back to edit this episode in the future, I feel like we're going to want to remember what exactly is going on at this very point in time, because things are happening, man. We are now somewhere between 48 and 72 hours into Donald Trump's coronavirus.
Yep, Mike Lee going around hugging everybody as a super spreader, along with, all of Trump's administration.
And Chris Christie, the whole gang. It's funny enough, Ted Cruz tested negative, because I imagine that having been in Ted Cruz's presence personally, nobody wanted to talk to that guy. Not a single person got in his face. Well, not just that,
but he's already had it.
That's true. Anyways, way too early to tell what's going to happen with all this, because anybody that's tried to predict anything about 2020 is full of shit, because God knows what the fuck's going on. So we got a lot to get to.
A lot.
We have part one of, I believe, the only 3-part Law & Order SVU episode that's ever been filmed. I have no exact knowledge of that. I know there's a few 2-parters.
There might have been a 3-parter with William Lewis,
okay,
where Liv got kidnapped. That's Pablo
right.
Schreiber. There might have been a 3-parter in there too, but that's the only other one that I can think of off the top of my head.
But this is a 3-part episode, and there's a whole lot of plot for us to get to, and a whole lot of fun stuff going on. So you want to just launch into it and see where it takes us?
We open cold on a raging bachelor party and soon find out that these obnoxious moneyed tools are a veritable who's who of the New York social scene, comprised of Yankees, Canadian goalies, cable news personalities, and Secret Service agents. Sex workers are filleting cigar-chomping douche bros poolside, and the underage Manitoban subset of that working demographic are ruining about-to-be-laid cable news hosts' nights by turning up dead under a pile of coats. Jump to the morning, and SVU is arriving to a scene that we know to have been tampered with because the direct midpoint between Paul Begala and Ronan Farrow is shoveling some be-horseshitted story about fishing said Winnipegger out of his pool and giving her mouth-to-vomit-caked mouth. Even worse than a haphazardly altered crime scene, the celebrant was none other than Will Brady, the police commissioner's son. It's cool, though. King Cop Daddy told Sonny Boy to fully cooperate. The unit starts questioning partygoers, and it's instantly clear that our magnanimous host is intent upon being less than forthcoming about virtually every detail surrounding the party. The dozens of scantily clad women at the party weren't hired. They were plus ones. Sure, News Weasel. Sure. These knockout model types wanted to hang out with you. Everyone will buy that. We do find out that our post-mortem swimmer was woozy, per the shockingly douchiest suit, but when Liv wants to steamroll Rich Johns like a power-drunk cop driving through protesters, Kragen says slow your roll. These fuckers lawyer up faster than you can bat your purty but steely eyes. Warner tells us that our underage Vic from the Prairie Provinces tested positive for scopolamine and had a significant amount of ejac in her stomach to go with abrasions on her knees.
It's significant.
Yeah, significant amount of ejac. But that there was no sign of forced sexual activity. So this ball is back in SVU's court. After the unit seems to be getting no help from anyone, Will Brady shows up with a USB drive that tracks him the whole night. This irritates Liv because she apparently doesn't realize that even if it's meant to exonerate the commission's son, it can also help them piece together what happened that night. They figure out that our totally on the level talking head lied and found our teen Canuck dead in his bedroom where she'd staggered on camera and had help relocating the corpse from a diplomatic security detail. But where do these wonderful women come from? A lusty blonde escort by the name of Carissa Gibson, who clearly wants some Pinot Peen right quick. Smash cut to, wait, is that Cassidy? Fucking hell, we just can't catch a break. This is Cassidy's world, we're just trapped in it. Cassidy, looking like a low-rent mobbed-up jamoke, tells his boss man, Dr. Taub from House, who has apparently taken the cessation of House 2 days earlier very badly, because he's already forgotten how to button up his shirt and is running a high-end escort service in New York as, quote, Bart Ganzel. That he has to stop palling around. Oh, fuck. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's unwieldy. All right. This is like a 5-line sentence. All right. Cassidy, looking like a low-rent, mobbed-up jamoke, tells his boss man, Dr. Taub from House, who has apparently taken the cessation of House 2 days earlier very badly because he's already forgotten how to button up his shirt and is running a high-end escort service in New York, as Bart Ganzel, that he has to stop palling around with his comely Asian escort because shit's about to go sideways. The alert from their well-placed mole wasn't in time, though, because Amaro and Rollins stroll in, and Cassidy cold-cocks Amaro to start a fight and maintain his cover with his diagnostician-turned-pimp. They send Cassidy to Rikers to maintain his cover and question a ridiculous Bart Ganzel, who gives them the name of the girl who brought the Vic to the party. Sprung from the clink, Liv and Amaro track down Cassidy at a low-class strip joint where he's scouting for diamonds in the rough. Cassidy foists Amaro on Carissa, Amaro shames Carissa for her chosen vocation, and between Ganzel's previous interrogation and Cassidy's intel given to Liv, it turns out that the teen bringer was on a Sunday morning flight to Cartagena, but she had ties to Ganzel's rival Delia Wilson, who caters to a super exclusive clientele when she's not, tending to her goats? Then Kragen finds a folder of compromat from an undercover op slid under his door. This shit is too hot for SVU, and Kragen tells Liv they're kicking this hot dump up to 1 pp. Then a former governor croaks, and his corpse is wearing his pants like he was a member of Crisscross. Finn and Rollins quickly poke a hole through a paper-thin cover story provided by Governor Fletcher's assistant, who confesses they found his wrinkled, naked ass sprawled out on his leather couch, expelled via happy ending. Warner says the governor with a heart condition was murdered with a quadruple dose of Viagra and a dash of scopolamine, and Finn and Rollins scoop up the Asian masseuse, who turns their attention to Delia's booker, Iris. Iris starts to come clean when a defense attorney barges in and tells her to shut the fuck up, only Iris ain't having none of that shit. She's not going to take the fall for Delia and tells Delia's lawyer to go screw. Iris flips on Delia. Delia is arraigned. Bail is set at $2 million, and just as quickly, Delia's perved out Dershowitz attorney puts up his townhome for collateral to spring his client/friend. Not Dershowitz threatens Kragen, Benson, and Amaro, telling them they're playing in shark-infested waters. Then, Carissa shows up, trying to tell Amaro what really happened to the governor, but she thinks she's going to be next and gets spooked at the prospect of making a statement in the precinct where the bought cop's eyes can see. Smash cut to Kragen, coming to in his bed. He's got a bloody hand, and there's a dead Carissa with her throat slashed at the foot of his bed. And we get a shocking, so this is why I stopped drinking Dick Wolf.
We sure do. Blood on your hands and a whore in your bed.
And not remembering a goddamn thing, because we all know that Kragen was a blackout drunk.
Yeah, I guess it's a bad way to wake up if you're a former alcoholic.
Yeah. Did I relapse?
I assume by the Alan Dershowitz style lawyer, you're talking about Arvin Sloan from Alias.
Yes, Ron Rifkin. Yep.
Big Ron Rifkin fan. He really plays the skeezy, evil attorney well.
Oh, yeah.
When he threatens them in the hallway of the court building, it's a legit threat.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Dershowitz could be threatening me about saying libelous things about Ghislaine Maxwell or something, you know?
Oh, for sure. Okay, so I think before we get into anything, we probably need to touch on the fact that this is ripped from not one, but two headlines.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, please.
So, this episode owes partly to the rape accusation levied against New York City Fox 5 News reporter Greg Kelly,
Interesting.
son of the then New York Police Commissioner Raymond Kelly.
Yeah.
Ray Kelly was commissioned from 2002 to 2013 and was the National Father's Day Committee 2003 Choice for Father of the Year. Greg Kelly's accuser charged that he'd taken advantage of her when she'd had too much to drink, but the DA's office ended up not bringing charges against him, citing insufficient evidence.
Weird.
Per an interview with BuzzFeed, she said she felt strongly and suddenly very impaired on the third drink they had on a date while they were both seeing other people. She remembers only bits of what happened after their 3 drinks at a bar. She only put together that she'd been raped over the days that followed. This meant, of course, that no drug test was going to turn up anything. When she started asking questions hinting that she might be trying to piece together whether he drugged her, he clammed up and more or less didn't respond to her communications. She later found out she was pregnant by him because her boyfriend had previously had a vasectomy. She didn't end up pressing charges for 3 months, waiting until January of 2012, meaning there was very little real-life SVU was able to use to prove a crime had been committed.
I'm sure they really investigated, you know, a rape allegation against Ray Kelly's kid, too.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. Of course, the tabloid press in New York vilified the accuser of a true blue New York golden boy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fucking great.
I think you kind of have 3, actually, because you obviously have Heidi Fleiss.
Delia Wilson's actually an apparent nod to the Upper East Side Madam.
Okay.
Or Soccer Mom Madam.
Okay.
Anna Christina.
Yeah.
Both of these cases had happened in the 6 months leading up to this episode.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, was that the Elliot Spitzer? Was the East Side Madam involved in that?
So she's the Soccer Mom Madam.
Okay.
So she ran an elaborate prostitution ring from an Upper East Side apartment that was busted in early 2012.
Okay.
She had cops on the payroll who were tipping her off to any raids, and her lawyer put up his condo as collateral for her $2 million bail. She pled guilty and was sentenced to 6 months, which she'd served while awaiting trial. She was running prostitutes to an HIV-positive Charlie Sheen, who was paying extra to have unprotected sex with her girls.
Great guy.
So, yeah, good times. I mean, obviously, like almost any madam bust, they're probably pulling in a little here or there.
Yeah. I mean,
you know, obviously, in recent memory, Jeffrey Epstein is closer.
Yeah, R.I.P. Just kidding.
Yeah.
No, but
that was clearly a joke. We both want to be on record with that because Jeffrey Epstein can fucking burn.
But Delia Wilson is also definitely has a touch of the Heidi Fleiss about her, because Heidi Fleiss, she also had a farm, but in her case, it was a parrot rescue farm that she lived out at, and there's certain things like that.
Well, Delia Wilson had a weird animal protection thing going on too. Sorry, Anna Christina did.
Okay. I don't want to give any spoilers away from the second/third part of this 3-parter, because I've actually watched the whole thing at this point.
Yeah, spoiler alert, the next part is not just one part. It's actually 2 full fucking episodes. It's like an hour and 20 minutes.
It's a full fucking movie.
Yeah.
But with 3 times as much plot as a regular movie has. Holy shit. No, but I would say that the Elliot Spitzer case comes into it as well, because they take down some powerful people are taken down. I'll just put it that way. And we will get there when we get there. Should we talk about some of the actors involved? I knew you teased them in the recap.
Obviously, starting at the sad top, we've got Dean Winters, who's back as Cassidy.
You know what? I was thrilled with Dean Winters' performance in this.
He was actually really good in this episode. I do get into this in my episode notes, but he's actually really so much better in this part, playing this fucking sleazebag. We'll get in that.
By far the best Dean Winters performance that I've seen on SVU, at least in the Munch My Benson run.
Yeah, he's actually a ton of fun. This is his first time back since season 1. We'll get into all that later. Okay, so then we've got Pippa Black playing Carissa Gibson.
I just want to say about Pippa Black, she has the most Australian name I've ever heard in my life. She also is about the most Australian-looking person I've ever seen that's not an Aboriginal Australian.
Yes.
Surprisingly, until the second time I watched this, I didn't even detect notes of her accent slipping through.
I picked it up right away.
Okay,
I
wasn't paying too
I was
close.
actually fairly bothered by it initially. It's one of those, like, she sort of has a milquetoast, who knows where this accent's from. She's masking Australian, but she's not trying to be a New Yorker either. So you can't really tell what the fuck she's supposed to be. In Australia, she was in Neighbours. She was also, right before this, there was that NBC sitcom in 2010 and 11 called Outsourced. She was in that, too. That's what NBC fans at the time would have known her as.
Yeah, I mean, she's good. Who else do we got? I mean, we've got
Brooke Smith playing Delia Wilson.
Yeah.
She's probably most famous as Catherine Martin, the Vic in the Hole in Silence of the Lambs.
That's right, yeah.
She's done, like, multiple episode work on Grey's Anatomy, Ray Donovan, Bosch, and Bates Motel.
Speaking of Bosch, Eric Ledeen, I guess you'd call him like the straight Anderson Cooper guy.
Yep.
He is probably, at least in my mind, most well known for being the investigative reporter from Bosch, but he's also been in a bunch of other things as well.
Yeah, he played Jamie Wright in the first 2 seasons of The Killing. He was J. Edgar Hoover in Boardwalk Empire, like a super young J. Edgar Hoover, before the FBI was started.
He was James Chaffin in Generation Kill, if any of you guys saw the David Simon miniseries. Awesome. Yeah, starring a guy I went to middle school with.
Which one?
Stark Sands.
Okay.
Yeah.
The same middle school you went to with Richard Spencer?
He didn't show up until 9th grade, which was my last year being there. But yes. Right. So I did not really know him.
Sure,
I know people that knew him, though.
You had your locker, like, right next to him, though, didn't you?
I mean, we would have been, like, near each other in assembly, but I don't fucking remember, man.
Yeah.
Especially when he got decked by that guy right after the inauguration. I really wanted to say that I knew him, but I really just, racking my brain, have no recollection of having class, having any conversation with that fucking guy.
Isn't he fully off the Trump train now?
I think he's been fully deplatformed. He's, like, not on Twitter anymore. Maybe he is. I don't know, but I don't have to hear about him.
Back to Eric, either Layden or Ladden. He was also in, I know there are multiple listeners of this show that used to watch Longmire. He was in Longmire. He was in Shooter. He was in Mad Men. And he was in For All Mankind. And this is like multiple episode arcs. He wasn't just in one episode of these shows.
Yeah.
Then we've got Peter Jacobson as Bart Ganzel.
Yeah.
He was Taub from House, obviously. So he was on like 4 seasons of House, I think. And then he was in Colony, The Americans, and Ray Donovan also.
A lot of Ray Donovan crossovers.
Yeah, a lot of Ray Donovan in this. Good thing no Ray Donovan characters have appeared in the show.
Yeah. We've got Reggie Cathy, who is probably best well known as the kind of the same character in The Wire, playing the kind of sleazy, well-connected. In that case, he's a journalist turned kind of political operator. In this case, he's...
Yeah, for Carcetti.
Yeah, he's a lawyer.
Norman Wilson is his character's name. Since that's in the same universe, he's presumably changed his name because Carcetti screwed the pooch so royally that he had to flee the old line state to opt out for the relative anonymity afforded him in New York. He's also won an Emmy for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Drama for House of Cards before his untimely death in 2018, reportedly from lung cancer. Barry Corns returns in conjunction with his Oz castmate Dean Winters through the next season in 3 episodes, including the next 2 parts. And then, this is kind of particular note, Barry Corns shares a last name with a character he played in Oz, Marvin Corns, forcing one to wonder whether Oz is also in this universe, which opens up another can of worms, because Stabler, Cassidy, and we haven't gotten to him yet, but J.K. Simmons... They're all 3 in Oz, and they all 3 pop up in this show. So, he was also Barry K. Word in Lights Out, Warren Light's show right before this, which makes me assume that he's the father to former Chiefs running back Barry Word.
Gets curiouser and curiouser. Of course, we already kind of mentioned Ron Rifkin, who in addition to being in Alias, was in LA Confidential, and
before this, he'd actually showed up in the season 13 premiere as Marvin Exley, which is based on the Dominique Strauss-Kahn case where Franco Nero plays the DSK part.
I can't wait till we get to that one. Sounds fun. He's in 110 episodes of Brothers and Sisters, which I have not watched a single one of, so I have no comment on that.
Yeah, I know. I was like, yeah, I mean, Jackie watched that, but she's probably the only listener. Only listener of the show that watched Brothers and Sisters. Okay, and so we've got 2 more. We've got Amy Hargraves, who played Iris Peterson. She was Jane Wellesley in season 5, episode 2, Manic, which we covered back in, it was the best of Culkins, it was the worst of Culkins.
Yeah.
Now, it's been a while since I've seen that episode, but I believe she was the sales rep who gave the unit the goods on the company, knowing about Aptral's severe possible side effects. She's played 3 characters on 5 episodes of SVU. She was also in 20 episodes of Homeland, and she's main cast on 13 Reasons Why. She was heavily featured in the Fassbender Schlong vehicle Shame. And I mean heavily featured.
Which I gotta say, did you watch that movie?
Yeah, I saw it.
I would have enjoyed it if it was more about just like, actually shamefully masturbating all the time. But there was a lot of his sister singing New York, New York or some shit in a bar. And it just about made me want to slit my wrists. Digression, sorry.
About Amy Hargraves. She was also Sam, Macon Blair's character's sister in Blue Ruin, that awesome Jeremy Saulnier movie. Which, if people haven't seen Blue Ruin's the fucking shit. It's so good. And then lastly, we've got Matt Burns playing Will Brady. This is the Sioux Falls native's second appearance on SVU. The first time was in season 11, episode 2 from 2009 called Sugar, where he played Owen Cassidy in a Sonia Paxton episode featuring Eric McCormick. Which makes me have to wonder, does this mean that Cassidy is related to the police commissioner?
Interesting.
Because presumably Will Brady has changed his name after the shame that befell him under his pseudonym Owen Cassidy, but I assume they're all kin.
Well, I got one more IMDb note, but I do want to just point out that Will Brady, the police commissioner's kid, looks exactly and acts exactly like Jared Kushner. I saw that guy and I was like, oh, this guy did it. He's a scumbag, but it turns out he didn't really do it. He was just a scumbag.
He's just a scumbag.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to the homicide detective who was investigating the governor's murder. And I apologize, there's lawn work going on next door to me. Guy's doing the best job of blowing that anybody's ever done.
Nope.
I take that back. Fuck it. All right, fuck this. Okay, I want to give a shout out to the homicide detective who investigated the governor's death. And he is played by Paul Borghese. He has a small part in it. He only has a couple lines, but I enjoyed it, so I looked him up. In the late 80s, he was a regular in Trauma films. So he was in Toxic Avenger Part 2 and 3. He was in Class of Nukem High Part 2, Bikini Bistro, a lot of fun ones. So it's a lot of fun stuff to check out there. I'm kind of interested in going down his entire filmography. Holy shit, there's a lot of things that happen right away in this one, right?
Yeah. Poolside, we straight up see an escort go out of frame, and after a beat, hear a zipper, followed by an ecstatic moan. So there are 5 people watching this fucking douchebag get blown.
Let's talk about the wardrobe here. So we're in a bachelor party, right?
Yeah.
Every guy in the bachelor party is wearing a suit, which is a little weird. Yeah. Like, what kind of asshole goes to a bachelor party wearing a suit? There's also about like 100 dudes there. It's a big bachelor party.
The extras budget on this episode was fucking insane.
Really? This is... so to speak, beating around the bush, because there is a lot of lingerie in this bachelor party.
Yeah, while watching a show constantly detailing grotesque rapes for its viewers, it's somehow more shocking and jarring to see a real piece of shit young captain of industry getting pleasure from being blown by a sex worker. Has this show conditioned us to not be able to accept transactional but presumably consensual sex acts as okay?
I mean, it kind of has, because I'm like, and just see sort of like above board semi-nudity. We've discussed this before.
Yeah.
It's almost more shocking to see somebody choosing to be naked than to see somebody whose clothes have been ripped off as part of a murder.
And sometimes it's Liv taking the victim's clothes off to show them their bruises.
Yeah, I would say in this one we have a couple times where we could cue that Liv line with the little girl on girl action from Hooked. Because
yeah, that too.
They definitely make a point. Okay, this whole thing is a setup, right, to obviously have Eric Ledeen find the dead body in his bed.
Yeah.
And it's an extended setup, though. There's a lot going on. There's somebody filming the whole thing with what looks like a pretty high-end prosumer camcorder from like the early 2000s, which I think is funny. It's a little quaint to see
clearly one of their buddies is a videographer.
Thought it was a little quaint to see one of those things.
Yeah. There was also a former Yankee at this bachelor party.
Yeah.
So that makes this a baseball episode, right?
Well, a former Yankee plus 2 current major leaguers. So definitely a baseball episode. I was trying to see, because there was like a couple dudes that looked like, I'm stereotyping, blah, 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 but they looked like NFL players, right? Because they were like large.
They did mention there was an NFL player there.
Oh,
right?
they did. There was an NHL
I believe they
player.
did in NHL, yes, but I believe they also mentioned there were football players there in that rundown of who all was there.
And there were
I may be misremembering that.
multiple hedge fund guys, 2 Secret Service agents, and then of course the bachelor party dude.
And some foreign dignitaries.
Yeah, I mean, these fucking dorks, though, they're surrounded by ultra hot escorts. They're supposed to be partying, and they're fucking talking about the IMF loans to Greece. What fucking dorks, man. I hate...
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Really, this is like, they are the main reason why New York actually sucks, is because it's filled with finance dickheads like those guys.
This is probably a pointed statement about that.
It definitely is. It's definitely like making a point to say, these guys fucking suck. Because obviously, clearly one of the hedge fund guys that are mentioned is just
the worst douchebag ever.
I mean, next to the open-robed old fucker from, which episode was that?
Bound.
Bound. Yeah, we covered that in Bound, which we covered in SVU and Matricide by Proxy. That was episode 21. We had an open-robed young man who loved to stick it to the old ladies. And by old, we mean like octogenarian old.
Not stick it to, stick it in the old ladies. That guy was awesome, though. I'm super into that guy. Anyway, so the obvious conclusion is that they're getting around saying that it's Derek Jeter because they say he's retired. Now, if this was a year later, the presumption is that it's a Met and it's Matt Harvey, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right. I didn't really look at that as far as the years, because A-Rod was still in the league at this point, right?
Yeah, but A-Rod doesn't go to bachelor parties. He just fucks people in front of paintings of himself as a centaur.
That's true. Well, yeah, Jeter's totally a bachelor party douche, bro. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of some former Yankee that's douchey enough that would have been retired in 2000.
It's Mo, man. It's Mo, and as it turns out, these guys are all like fundamentalist Christians who have like genocide parties in their backyard, and that's what Mariano Rivera's there for. He's like, oh, we can kill indigenous people? I'm here for it.
Yep. There's another Mariano Rivera outrageous thing that I want to say, but I'm not going to. Moving right along.
Unanimous Hall of Famer. Fuck that. I'm sorry.
Fuck that guy. Anyway, I love that these fucknuts of privilege all got trapped in an overloaded elevator trying to escape. Fuck them.
But there's a whole scene of like in the background. There's like techs trying to open up the elevator.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
They're all fucking trapped. Fucking idiots. So Wall Street guy number 1, Chris Stack, the actor.
Oh my god.
Her? Mostly I remember the top of her head.
She could barely talk.
What, like she was on something?
Nothing that I gave her.
I'm not sure what that look on his face was as he related that he remembered what she looked like while blowing him, but I don't think it was going to endear him to Rollins.
Yeah, and remember, I don't remember the exact timeline, but this is a 16-year-old Canadian girl. So she did not grow up in the mean streets of New York City. She grew up in the nice down-home world of Winnipeg, Manitoba. And as somebody who's been watching a lot of Canadian television recently, there's some bad people out there, but generally speaking, the family life is always at least comforting, and, you know, there's always a warm meal to be had at Tim Hortons. And, you know, it's just everybody's friendly up there.
I usually drink out of a Tim Hortons mug.
Nice. It's a friendly
From
country.
Calgary.
Yeah. From Calgary? Weird.
Calgary.
Yeah.
No, we went to Banff a couple years ago.
I hear that Yellowknife's going to become the new Calgary. That's what Arctic Air's been telling me.
Because of global warming?
Well, partially because of global warming, because they do bring that up, but also because of the resource boom. There's uranium and diamonds to be mined up there, man.
Well, I guess that's where I'm going now.
Uh-huh.
So Liv has been on this unit for 14 to 15 years at this point.
Yep.
How the fuck is she asking Kragan why he wants them to tread lightly?
Yeah, obviously. The police commissioner's kid was there, plus a bunch of super rich people. Like, how many times have they been in trouble with IAB, with all sorts of people?
What doesn't she understand about how money affects power and policing in this country?
Absolutely.
You know?
So I want to backtrack just slightly because that finance guy douchebag, after he says, well, ooh, her, well, I say I remember the top of her head. He then immediately turns to Rollins, looks at the handcuffs in her jeans, which I don't know if that's like exactly the best place you should be putting those if you're a detective, right? Because somebody could easily access them. Like
they should be, well, they're probably on a button, like they should be on a belt, sort of cuff holster almost, but whatever.
But he says to her,
Do you ever use your handcuffs in bed?
You ever get laid without paying for it?
pretty good comeback.
That's pretty much her moment in the episode. Otherwise, she kind of sucks.
Yeah, but he basically is like, well, you're right. That's a good point.
Yeah. No, that was a quick, brutal burn.
I just want to throw this out because I don't want to talk about it very much, but we have some brutal scenes in this that I don't even think that you've mentioned, or if you did, wasn't listening, about we just take this downshift. We're going 90 miles an hour because we've been in the midst of a lurid sex party for the first 5 minutes of the show, and we immediately shift gears and we're at Nick Amaro's house.
Yep,
with
that's my next note.
His
here.
awful wife. And it's just like, God, it's boring. Just immediately all energy is lost, and we have to hear about their shit.
This is actually the first episode she's in after Street Revenge, which we covered back in Fantastica.
Yeah.
Where he drove off to Philly mid-shift to assault Maria's buddy before he finds out she was cheating on him with therapy. That was, like 5 episodes before this?
Yeah, and this was definitely kind of foreshadowing her role in military justice, which I'm going to look it up the name of what we did.
They're clearly, like, about to file
separate. Yeah, right.
Things are not going well between them.
Yeah, they're not going well on screen, and it's really, Amaro he does not really do well in this episode as a police officer. To his credit, though, I wouldn't say that he necessarily did anything inappropriate with whatever her fucking name is, Carissa.
He held the line, as it were.
Yeah, but Cassidy everybody keeps making these insinuations that he didn't.
Yeah.
So Cassidy says it, and Ganzel says it, and all these people talk about his relationship with Carissa.
I mean, I know why they're doing that. I remember that Amaro was going to be the mark.
Yeah.
And they were going to fuck Amaro over. I know that's the angle that they're going for, and so they're trying to impugn him, like set up the stage for when she eventually wears him down. But yeah, we obviously don't get there quite yet.
As it turns out, that's not what they did.
That's not what they ended up doing because Amaro kept rebuffing her advances.
Yeah, but honestly, as it turns out, they had a better angle going after Kragan to begin with. Right. Because going after Kragan goes after the entire investigation, whereas going after Amaro, who gives a shit about Amaro? He's just a regular detective. We need to talk about this Warner scene because this is one of the greatest Tamara Tooney appearances of all time. I think this definitely goes in the pantheon.
Yeah. But so she tells them that it's a cuppy. Cuppy stands for circumstances undetermined pending police investigation.
Mm-hmm.
So she's basically like, hey, fuckers, this isn't on my plate anymore. You have to prove that a crime happened. It's not just going to be the Emmy bailing your asses out. Which then Rollins decides she's going to butt heads with Warner.
I'm kicking this back to you. It's a cuppy.
A pending police investigation? You told us she was dead when she went to that pool.
Somebody moving the body doesn't prove homicide. That's your job.
Thanks a lot.
Which makes this, the third or fourth time we've seen Rollins giving to a woman of color who is just doing her fucking job.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point.
I think it's pretty clear she's a racist, right?
I mean,
she gave attitude to Ronnie Pettis in Street Revenge.
Uh-huh.
You want me to match a Metro card to a Board of Ed employee? I don't have time for that. 135,000 people work here.
Well, it's a police matter, so you don't have to make time.
Excuse me, all I have to do is stay black and die.
Yeah, Ronnie Pettis was just doing her fucking job. She was actually trying to help him.
Yep.
And fuck Rollins. What was your other Rollins?
Well, the scopolamine bit, obviously, I've used it. I wish I used it one additional time because that fishing trip in Port A was fucking brutal.
Yeah.
I think I threw up 7 or 8 times from seasickness because it was 8-foot seas, 9-foot seas?
It was 6 to 8, which is, we shouldn't have gone.
Bad on that size of boat.
No, I mean, you have to be on a really big boat for that. there's no party fishing boat where that's comfortable. They should have told us it's going to be miserable. That's what they should have told us.
Because it was.
It was.
There were only, 2 people who didn't throw up?
Me, Pike, and Bobby, and Mannix. So there were 4 of us that didn't throw up.
Mannix threw up, I think.
Oh, he might have. But I think
he only threw up once, but he threw up and was napping for a little bit inside.
But there were like 3 of us that didn't throw up out of 22 people on board.
Yep.
And including the captain threw up. I don't know if the deckhand threw up.
One of the other deckhands did too. I think he was hungover.
The lady who was working the galley, she definitely puked. It was miserable. It was fucking miserable.
That was terrible.
We had no business being out there. We caught 3 fish between 25 people over the course of 8 hours. Back to the show. This is my favorite Warner, one of my favorite Warner moments of all time, because she's talking about the victim, Maggie Murphy, and she says,
There's no signs of trauma except for abrasions on her knees. Semen in her mouth and throat, and 2.5 ounces in her stomach contents.
That's more than one guy. This girl was working hard.
Yeah.
Which is an understatement because I actually went down and tracked down the math. Now,
I've seen the math done somewhere else. Someone else did it for me, so I didn't have to.
So the average male ejac is somewhere between 1.25 and 5 milliliters. Now, 2.5 ounces is approximately 74 milliliters. So what we're talking about is somewhere between 15 and 60 loads dumped in her mouth, with the median load working out to about 20 spooges down the pipe.
Yeah.
Which is, this woman is 16 years old, Josh. This is not the first time that we've hypersexualized underage girls in SVU, but still, I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
When Liv sees her body poolside, she says, oh, she's so young.
Mm-hmm.
Casting-wise, they probably actually cast a 20-something.
Yeah, probably.
And so,
it looks like it.
To look at her, I don't think that you can just say, oh, she's so young, like Liv did, because the actress that they cast doesn't scream 16. She doesn't scream like...
She doesn't look 14 like the 14-year-old that was in that Michael K. Williams episode.
Yeah, I think who was maybe even 13.
Something like that.
Yeah, that was creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
That was gross. This is like 20 isn't old, but I mean, 20 still like feels young to me as far as like who could even talk to a 20-year-old? What's the point of that? Anyway.
But they keep hitting back on this though, because Olivia later says, we need to go after these guys. Maggie Murphy was 16 and she spent the whole night on her knees.
Yeah. And then there's the whole like, she's pissed that some surgeon gave her a breast implant.
We got a hit on our Vic's breast implants. Her plastic surgeon ID'd her as Maggie Murphy from Winnipeg. She's 16.
16, and he gave her implants.
Liv, we can't prosecute a Winnipeg surgeon.
His whole job in this episode is really just reining Liv in.
Yeah, it's like...
This is probably the worst, most detached from reality policing that we've had Liv do since maybe the first 3 episodes that we covered.
Yeah, which was the first episode she was in, and then, of course, the heavy... first 4 episodes.
4. Sorry, it was the 4th episode.
Gone Baby Gone was episode 4. That's the one where Brooke Shields abducts baby boy Doe.
Right after this, she also gets pissed when they hand her the video coverage of virtually the entire night.
I know, right? They have 8 hours. 8 hours of footage.
Yeah. Why would you be pissed?
Because she was indignant that these rich douchebags were having fun with prostitutes.
Yeah.
And for the most part, okay, so obviously one of these girls was underage and was there for the wrong reasons, as it turns out.
And was used as a pawn. Like, that's all fucked up.
Yeah.
Inarguably. But to be fair to the guys in the bachelor party, this was like a semi-legal thing.
Yeah.
They're getting escorts, and I mean, that's not legal.
No, but getting escorts is legal. It's getting legal.
Legal. It's exchanging money for sex explicitly is not legal.
They weren't doing that. They were paying money to have them come to the party. That's
yes. Well, the implication, of course, is something entirely different.
Sure, but I mean, at least these are.
But as long as they're just dancing, then it doesn't matter. As long as it's just strippers.
Yeah, or they're just hanging out and having a conversation. You know, that's all they're doing
while getting blown poolside.
Mm-hmm. Well, but I mean, that's just a side. That's what happens at the end of a conversation with a finance guy, right?
Finance guys should never get blown.
But Liv gets so indignant about this. And she's a career sex crimes investigator. This is not nearly the worst thing that she's experienced.
Yeah.
Is seeing a party full of they're dickheads, and they probably have money that shouldn't belong to them. But still, it's like, them having sex workers over at their house is not the worst thing that Liv has investigated. And she treats it like it's like such a terrible, moral failing.
When Brady hands over the tape, he says, hey, you only get married for the first time once.
I know.
So he's clearly already planning for a divorce.
I know. What a dickhead.
Yeah, what a douchebag.
Well, and the way he had his hands all over those lap dancers definitely screamed first marriage.
In the next scene where Rollins and Finn and Amaro are sitting around the table going through evidence, poring over the camera footage, Rollins says, never underestimate a man's capacity for self-delusion, which to me read as way too poignant for something to be coming out of Rollins' mouth. I did a little digging. So the first time these words explicitly were put together was Roger Cohen wrote a New York Times opinion piece about Gaddafi called The Price of Delusion. This is in April of 2011. And he said, but never underestimate the human capacity for delusion. And then as I dive deeper, it looks like this is all a nod to a passage from 1759's Adam Smith treatise, The Theory of Moral Sentiments. I found this information on some blog called The Conservable Economist. So the passage from the book reads thusly, or from the treatise.
Whatever. Essay.
Whatever this fucking shithead.
Neoliberal screed. Actually, proto-liberal screed.
Proto-liberal, yeah.
Yeah, proto-liberal screed.
So Smith wrote, the opinion which we entertain of our own character depends entirely on our judgments concerning our past conduct. It is so disagreeable to think ill of ourselves that we often purposely turn away our view from those circumstances which might render that judgment unfavorable. He is a bold surgeon, they say, whose hand does not tremble when he performs an operation upon his own person. And he is often equally bold who does not hesitate to pull off the mysterious veil of self-delusion, which covers from his view the deformities of his own conduct. Rather than see our own behavior under so disagreeable an aspect, we, too often, foolishly and weakly, endeavor to exasperate anew those unjust passions which had formerly misled us. We endeavor by artifice to awaken our old hatreds and irritate afresh our almost forgotten resentments. We even exert ourselves for this miserable purpose, and thus persevere in injustice merely because we were once unjust, and because we are ashamed and afraid to see that we were so. This self-deceit, this fatal weakness of mankind, is the source of half the disorders of human life. If we saw ourselves in the light in which others see us, or in which they would see us if they knew all, a reformation would generally be unavoidable. We could not otherwise endure the sight.
So was the Richard Cohen piece about Libya, was that before Gaddafi was toppled? And was it like...
It was April of 2011.
So I think so.
Arab Spring, isn't it?
I think the Arab Spring was...
Or the Arab Spring was happening, but Gaddafi hadn't fallen yet.
Yeah, and so I mean, did you read it? I didn't...
Yeah, I read it. It's not that long.
But was it arguing in favor of military action against Libya?
No, it's really just a piece about Gaddafi being insane. He would endear himself to the West, and then it's just Gaddafi being lunatic.
But building him up as like an oriental kind of despot who needs to be thrown over. Because it's interesting hearing that Adam Smith piece and then thinking about how we overthrew Libya without having any plan in place with what to do with it afterwards. Because that's...
Well, that's weird. That's not like us at all.
No, yeah. And so, I mean, we've done a good job of destabilizing the entire fucking world over the last 20 years, but... not the podcast for that.
Picking up where the United Kingdom did.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, where they left off. Thanks, Britain. Okay, so for any listener who doesn't know who Adam Smith was, he's essentially the father of economics and capitalism.
Yeah.
Kind of the original champion of the free market.
Mm-hmm.
Presumably, this makes Rollins a capitalist pig, if she's quoting him.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, that makes sense. One more kind of like world events thing going on. So the newscaster dude, Eric Ledeen, was he was going to go cover the crisis in North Korea.
Yes.
And he was about to leave the country to do that before they actually held his plane. Didn't really turn out to much because he, as it turns out, besides moving the body, he didn't have any part to play in the murder. But still, so I was...
Tampering with the crime scene.
Thank you. But I was trying to figure out what that could have been. And
yeah, I looked into it too.
And I'm pretty sure they were probably talking about the death of Kim Jong-il, which happened in December 2011.
I looked at a timeline of North Korea at this time.
Yeah.
So the North Korean government was engaging in a slew of bullshit posturing.
Yeah.
And this is all right around the centennial of Kim Il-sung's birth. who was the founder of North Korea. They'd been trying to launch a bunch of satellites and failing.
Yeah.
And this resulted in food aid getting cut off. And this is all right at that time. North Korea was posturing a lot at this point, and so there was a lot of diplomatic bullshit going back and forth.
Yep.
But they were sort of having to, because, they wrote this back in April, they were having to look into the future a little bit and be like, okay, well, where would he be going? And so there's a little bit of predictive forecasting going on here about geopolitical shit.
And they made it vague.
Yeah, they kept it vague. In April, they shot up a satellite and it exploded, but the satellite was violating an arms treaty that they had signed back in December or January.
Yeah, but so this was all part of a behind-the-scenes power struggle going on after the death of Kim Jong-il.
Right,
and when Kim Jong-un was kind of cementing his leadership.
Right.
Before he became friends with our big fat leader. Love them, man. They're great.
Yeah, good dudes.
Big shout out to Dennis Rodman for breaking the Iron Curtain over there.
We cut to Bart Ganzel.
Yeah.
And holy shit, he is bearing a lot I when we meet him.
Sure
I counted 4 buttons undone on that striped shirt. He's got 2 buttons done above the belt. And he's wearing a medallion. This is what I imagine Jeffrey Epstein wished he could be like before William Barr had him killed.
Yeah, but man, I love Ganzel. He's a lot of fun. Peter Jacobson is he relishes in this.
When he's getting interrogated, I seriously, he was chomping on lines so much I thought he was chewing gum.
Now, that was another scene where I was just marveling at the lingerie budget at this episode, because it's just there's so much lingerie. Did they just buy an entire Fredericks of Hollywood before they made this?
It's one of those weird things where, if you know anything about how movies are made or TV is made, you have to wonder, how much their featured extra budget is, because, all of them in lingerie have to be making more. You don't sign up as an extra to do that. You're getting a bump. And so they seriously have, at least over the course of this episode, 30 women walking around in lingerie?
No, what I want to know, is there a graded scale there? Because there's a few women that we definitely watching that first thing.
If they're up in front, if they're on camera, trained on camera, the ones who were giving
there's a redhead,
the ones who were giving a
lap
dance to Will, those they're definitely getting more of a bump, because they're featured extras and they're
times 2
in lingerie or semi-nude.
They got the lingerie multiplier. It's the Mega Millions kind of thing.
I don't know how things work New York wise, and I haven't worked on a lot of shows where I'm high enough up on production on a show where there's a lingerie scene or something like that to know how exactly it works in LA, but there's no way they're not having to pay a higher premium for that. And I mean, most background is making fuck all.
Now, I mean,
$150 on an 8-hour day or something.
It makes sense. This was both the season finale and then the season premiere, and the network requested to have a 2-part season premiere, have a double time slot. So it's not surprising that they had an extra budget for these episodes.
Right.
I really enjoyed Dean Winters cold cocking Amaro, because at this point in the episode, I was already sick of Amaro, and I'm just going to tell you, we get a lot more Amaro. There's a lot of Amaro in this fucking 3-parter, and Dean Winters knocks the shit out of him.
Yeah. Also, his suggestive interplay with Liv is seriously funny, and not funny laughing at Dean Winters delivering the lines. He actually relishes these lines, and he's actually really good in this.
Well, and I totally buy him.
I can't believe we're talking about this. I can't believe we're both oh, Dean Winters was actually really good in this episode, but he was.
No, it was. I totally bought his character. Like him as this guy, the kind of questionable ethics undercover guy, that fits.
And deep cover.
Yeah.
He's been in with Ganzel for 2 or 3 years.
It totally fits, as opposed to what he's in season 1, where he's supposed to be kind of the junior detective under Munch. And he really just falls flat. But so I totally like that.
So back to Jacobson, I think he does hit a few weird notes in the interrogation. Weird enough that I kind of have a hard time buying him as a high-dollar escort runner.
Yeah, I can see that.
But somehow that actually adds an element of camp to this episode that still plays kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. Delia Wilson totally is more believable as the kind of high-priced madam than he is.
She's got this farm.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? This is the most elaborate cover I've ever seen.
What, her farm?
Yeah,
cover?
what the
It's also a 3.5-hour drive from New York.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
So I looked up all the cards for this. We'll just do this right now because we're talking about one of them. Her farm is 23 North Union Street in Cambridge, New York. Cambridge, New York is a 3.5 hour drive from Midtown Manhattan, where SVU precinct is. I timed it from Grand Central Terminal, so, right downtown. Yeah. And 3.5 hour drive. It's just northeast of Albany.
Jesus, that's far.
It's really fucking far. It's right on the Vermont border. It's actually kind of believable if she's catering to New York State bigwigs. So if her business...
Do you think she was feeding Keith Raniere women for NXIVM?
Well, probably. Man, NXIVM.
You've been watching The Vow?
No, I need to, though.
Yeah, it's fucking fun as shit. I mean, fun as shit in like a holy shit, this is fucked up.
Yeah, in a true crime way. But still, it's like, I totally bought it when I looked up. I was like, wow, that's really far for Amaro to... Who was it? Who went up there? Finn and Rollins? I don't remember.
No, Benson was up there.
Yeah, Benson and Amaro. Yeah, that's a 7-hour driving day.
They went up twice.
That's 2 full days of driving.
Because they go up to arrest her after.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. It's a lot of driving. Still, I buy it because it's right next to Albany. Her clientele would be there potentially, even if you're in government in New York State, like, you don't stay in Albany that much. Let's be honest.
I mean, she had 2 ex-governors. She was on their speed dial.
I know, but one of them...
I guess you can drop that down to 1, though.
One of them... So, next card that we're going to get to, one of her ex-governors lived in the Flatiron Building. So, his address...
What? He lived in the Flatiron?
171 Fifth Avenue.
Crazy.
That's one of the 5 most iconic office buildings in the United States. It's the Flatiron Building.
That's funny.
I know. That's like, normally I don't even bring it up. Oh, back to Cambridge, New York. Cambridge, New York is where Pi a la Mode was originated, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. But yes, the real address of the Flatiron Building is 175 Fifth Avenue, but there is no 171 because it would be another storefront in the Flatiron Building. I don't think there's too many apartments there. I could be wrong.
But maybe if you're an ex-governor.
Yeah, I don't know. It's true. And then the last card, there are only 3 cards. The other one was Ganzel's place. And that one actually also makes a lot of sense, just like Delia's. It was 571 West 23rd Street. It would be right across the street from the Chelsea Piers, right across the West Side Highway. So actually totally believable. Like, if I were...
But is it believable as a residence? Because I have a hard time buying that as a place where someone lives. That looks like a club.
Where he was hanging out? Oh, yeah. Where he was hanging out was totally a club.
It's listed as Bart Ganzel's residence.
Yeah, but...
What in the fuck life does this guy live?
The
that
address,
is a club
I know.
Fully.
It totally is. It totally is like a bar. It might have been the same set, like the same location from the strip club that they go to meet Cassidy later. It's just been redressed.
Oh, they would have had to heavily redress it, though.
Right, yeah, maybe. You're probably right.
Because there's no windows. And there was light coming in from outside, which makes it a weird strip club. But
I would also say for a strip club, it had really low ceilings.
Yeah.
And it's a weird quibble, but I haven't been to too many strip clubs. I'm kind of more on the Amaro.
The only one that it's sort of reminiscent of for me is Mary's. Is it Mary's Bar or Mary's Place? I think it's Mary's Bar. Mary's Bar in Portland. It's like the oldest strip club in Portland, but it's like a straight up bar with a normal low ceiling.
Yeah, see, that makes sense to me. I've been to a place in Tijuana where it was like that, where it's just like basically like a little stage with a pole in it, and it's basically a bar, and it's like, so there's some girl there. No,
not Hong Kong.
Not Hong Kong. The opposite end of the spectrum from Hong Kong.
Yeah. Well, maybe that upper room.
For our listeners that have not been to Tijuana.
Sorry. The like still in the main section. We're not talking about the rooms where the dancers would take you up for prostitutes.
I don't know. There's a menu. Anyways, there are clubs in Tijuana that are not like clubs in the United States. We'll put it that way. So
yeah. I mean, like midday, and you're just like, what the fuck did I just walk into? Anyway,
it's an experience. Great town. It really gets underrated by people, but highly recommend Tijuana.
TJ's great.
Be safe everywhere you go, but it's a lot of fun. Still, okay. So back to
weird digression.
Anyway. Yeah. So. Do we want to talk about the governor scene? Because I really love the governor scene. So the governor is dead, and they walk in, and great performance from Paul Borghese again as the like throwaway under 5 homicide detective. Who they ask him,
"What cause for you?" I'm not a skilled sex crimes detective like you guys, but my suspicions were aroused when I noticed that the former governor's pants was unzipped and on backwards.
Okay.
So when the assistant is like giving the details and then she sort of walks away, but she's still within earshot, Finn's like, at least that makes me feel better. I'd hate to think hers was the last face he saw before he checked out.
I know.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's so fucking harsh.
I've never heard them actually like basically talk shit about how ugly a woman was on SVU.
Yeah,
before.
it's really fucked up. And so like this, so she's played by Sandra Landers, whose first IMDb credit was in the Dick Wolf penned School Ties. Then she's not in Another Thing from 1992 all the way until 2009, where she was in The Lovely Bones and The Answer Man. Then she landed this. It must feel shitty to have this line dropped about you when you're struggling to get parts.
Mm-hmm.
I will note that after not landing anything on screen between this episode of SVU in 2012 through 2018, she's actually had a solid last 2 years, landing in The Report, Hightown, The Plot Against America, and The Politician. Things appear to be looking up for her, but god damn it, that's got to be harsh. Like, you watch that episode and you're probably not on screen anymore when that line comes up, and it's probably not in your sides when you see it.
But when you come back and watch it, because
when you come back and watch it and that makes it to air, you're just like, what the fuck?
When your fucking like sister watches that, or your kids or something, and they're like,
any family member is going to be like, and the shitty thing is, she would have told everyone, to like all of her friends, oh, I'm in this SVU.
Yeah, I have like
whatever.
I have like several lines in this SVU. Like, she's like a not totally insignificant part.
She's not an under 5.
Yeah, brutal. Totally brutal.
Yeah,
it's a
really rough.
One of the worst things I've heard Finn say, I think. Maybe the worst thing.
I think it's the worst thing I've heard him say. It's just like, what the fuck? And Rollins doesn't give any pushback either.
She's not like, man, you can't say that shit. Because I could see Rollins saying, like, you can't talk like that. I'm sorry.
Nothing. Just lets it go.
Drops.
So then we get to Warner in the morgue or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She says his blood pressure was 70/25.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, neither of us are doctors.
No.
But how can you measure blood pressure post-mortem?
You can't.
Like, a beating heart is the thing that's providing the blood pressure.
Yeah, exactly. It's zero. That's what it is. 0 over 0.
Yeah, and as a non-doctor, it's my understanding that the only force providing blood pressure after death is gravity. So that's why, like, when they cut open a dead body, the blood doesn't rush out of that wound.
Yeah, because it's all on your feet or whatever.
Yeah. If you're supine, like, it would all settle. So if you're cutting on top of the body, there's no bleeding.
Yeah. No, that was weird. That was like a weird, like...
When is this dead guy getting a blood pressure check? Huh?
It's a good point.
They established that he had a heart condition.
Yeah.
Your blood pressure can vary, correct? Like,
Sure,
your blood
all the
pressure
time.
doesn't set in at one rate.
No,
so, like, if he was 70/25 at a doctor's appointment, I don't know how they'd have those records.
Yeah, they wouldn't. So maybe he has like a nurse on staff or something that's taking his blood pressure.
I mean, he's a former governor, so maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be the one thing that it could have made sense.
The way it's presented, it does not make sense.
So if you, say, are getting a naked massage from a Japanese masseuse who's scantily clad and you're naked, your blood pressure is going to be different pre-massage than it will be post-massage, right? Or
at least he was quick.
Or mid-massage, maybe. It'll be definitely, it'll like spike mid-massage. You know? Yeah, he was quick.
It'll spike. Yep. Yes, it will.
Now, you in your recap said the word Viagra, but Emmy Warner did not say.
You know what's easier than saying off-brand erectile dysfunction drugs?
Well, okay, here's the thing. I did the research because she said he had 200 milligrams of an erectile dysfunction drug. Yeah. So there are two main ED drugs. There's obviously Viagra and there's Cialis, and they're two different active ingredients. Cialis has tadalafil, and Viagra has sildenafil citrate. The dosages are what interested me because she said it was 4 times the regular dose. So as it turns out, it has to be Viagra because he had 200 milligrams. A regular dose of Viagra is 50 milligrams. So it checks out. If it was tadalafil, it would have been 5 milligrams as regular dose. So it would have been something like
20?
A lot more. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, something. Yeah. I can't remember what exactly you said.
I think 40.
Yeah,
so,
40. Yeah. Because you said 200 milligrams. Yeah. Yeah. So it'd be 40.
Yeah. So it was Viagra. And I think I've not dabbled in Viagra, but my understanding is if you take too much of it, it's a wild ride.
Okay. So, I listen to comedy podcasts and stuff, and every once in a while someone will say they took Viagra and that their heart was racing. And they were sort of like a little concerned the one time they took it.
I think most comedy podcasts are sponsored by certain...
Hey, Viagra, if you want to be a sponsor of Munch My Benson, reach out via email or Twitter. We're munchmybenson@gmail.com.
Yeah, you can also find us at Facebook at Munch My Benson.
Yeah, whatever the fucking Facebook.
Yeah, I think it's It's just Munchy Benson.
But there are a bunch of numbers and shit behind it. But yeah, Twitter is the one that we check more often.
Yeah.
So if you want to reach out via Twitter,
but we do have
Benson.
We have a Facebook, we have an IG. Yeah, we're out there. Also, Viagra, if you guys are listening, you can rate and review us on your podcasting app.
Yes.
That helps
Please
us out a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, everyone at
it's a Pfizer, I think, right?
Yeah, Pfizer. So Pfizer, please feel free. We'll gladly put in ads for Viagra. I feel like we're doing one right now. So if you want to pay us for this one, cool. Go for it. Okay, so I love Marvin Exley, Ron Rifkin essentially playing the part of like renowned piece of shit Alan Dershowitz. Rifkin is basically playing Dershowitz, barging in, trying to shut up Iris, only to get sent away. Fucking love that shit.
Yeah, man. Rifkin in this really reminds me of this Sidney Pollack character from Eyes Wide Shut. Like, you're in way too deep. You can't handle what's about to happen here, which is actually probably Alan Dershowitz from the Jeffrey Epstein case.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, Eyes Wide Shut, kind of real life, as it turns out.
Yeah. You guys know I represent an arms dealer, right? Because that's what Jeffrey Epstein really was. That's how he really made his money.
Allegedly.
Yeah, but everyone...
Oh, you can rate and review Alan Dershowitz podcast as well. Apparently he has one
Give
now.
it a 1. Give it a 1. Cool. Anyway... Don't give us a 1, please.
Yeah.
If it's Alan Dershowitz giving us a 1, I'll take it as a badge of honor. But at least if you're going to do that, Dersh, at least leave a review also with your ID on it.
So did you do any research to find out why they named it Rhodium Nights? Because I thought that was a kind of a curious name.
I actually watched it a third time today because we were maybe going to tape last weekend and then didn't.
Yeah.
And so I watched it a third time, and it occurs to me that it's a really tenuous title, but that Rhodium's like a really rare precious metal.
Yeah, it's like super
and so
platinum.
It's probably some dumb class thing. I don't feel like it tracked.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like anyone really knows what rhodium is to be able to have the episode of easily the biggest cliffhanger that SVU's ever done.
Oh, well...
Certainly a season-ending cliffhanger.
Wasn't there one with like a tragic car accident, or am I confusing that with the original series? Where, like, is Cabot involved in, like, a terrible car wreck or something once?
Well, Stabler's wife is.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Benson's there or something, but I don't know if that's a season finale.
No, it's not a season finale. No, it's like a mid-season two-parter.
Yeah, I mean, this is it.
Yeah.
Cragen wakes up in fucking bed with a dead hooker and... dead escort.
Yeah.
Dead sex worker.
Yeah.
She calls herself an escort, so I'll leave it as escort. But he wakes up in bed with a dead escort and...
Dead fiance to a, diagnostician.
Yeah.
He wakes up and it's funny because, again, I watched all fucking 3 hours of this show. I watched the whole thing, and then I went back and watched this one again. And I totally had forgotten how there's no build-up to it. It's just, she's talking to Morrow.
It is the most jarring fucking smash cut.
She's talking to Amaro, and then it's like cut to Cragen looking at his hands covered in blood.
This is the smash cut of smash cuts.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have more notes on this, but I have two things I want to cover. So at Delia's arraignment, we have ADA Rose Collier.
Weird ADA.
Per the fandom wiki, she frequently handles minor arraignments, cases, appeals, and motions.
Frequently?
Yeah. So is this minor?
Yeah. No, doesn't.
I feel like it's not. Now, for a frame of reference, season 13 ADAs jump all over the place.
Yeah, there's no ADA, right?
We start with Cabot for 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Then Novak for 3. Collier for 1. Cabot for 4 of the next 5. Then Executive ADA Hayden for 2 of 3. Collier again. Hayden and Collier in the next one. Novak for 1 of the next 3. Cabot, none. And then back to Collier. It's so fucking weird.
This definitely would have been a case for Donnelly, right? Like, you bring in, like, the executive ADA for this.
I think she might have been a judge at this point.
You bring in, like...
She's definitely a judge at this point because she stepped down in,
you bring in the most seasoned prosecutors that you have, because this goes all the way to the top. And there's a lot of things that will fall out from this. Let's just say the most unrealistic thing about this whole 3-part episode is how much fallout there is, because holy holy shit, there's a lot of fallout.
Okay, so
but that's a spoiler.
My last note is, did you catch the weird insert of the mid-five between Amaro and Benson when bail was set at $2 million and they're walking out of the courtroom? There's a weird tight shot just on their hands at waist level, giving each other five, but it's tight where you can only see them between the, I don't know, midsection to the knees. You know, like strike zone, basically. So weird.
I mean, also, like, $2 million bail for that, it's not enough. You know what I mean?
Clearly, because it was a townhome. Was enough to
exactly.
cover bail.
And I mean, I'm telling you, like, these people, they can. I just listened to a whole thing about Jeff Epstein's relationship with fucking Deutsche Bank, and these people can fucking shit out a loan for $300,000 whenever they want to. It's nothing to them. But man, this one, it looks like it's going all the way to the top. I want to give it like a little bit of a teaser for a segment I'm going to do next time, because this episode really, it gets to this amazing cliffhanger with our guy, Don Cragen, played by Dan Florek. And Dan Florek is, in my mind, part of a kind of a, not as long as I thought, but a tradition of big bald bosses in television. And I've done a deep dive. And partially I went through this because this episode really, really, really reminded me of an episode of X-Files called Avatar, which features Skinner, who wakes up in bed with a dead prostitute next to him. Ironically, Skinner is usually only in plot episodes of X-Files. And that is not a plot episode of X-Files. It's a throwaway monster of the week. But it's the one where Skinner wakes up next to a dead prostitute and a whole lot of shit falls out from it. This is like the biggest plot episode we get at this point of SVU, but it being about Cragen. And of course, I think that Mitch Pileggi and Dan Florek are kind of part of a
brotherhood, a fraternity.
They're a fraternity of big bald bosses. And I'm going to get into all of the rest of them because I feel
like for alliterative purposes, it has to be a brotherhood of big bald bosses.
Brotherhood of big bald bosses. That's absolutely right. And they're really, I
feel like that's going to be the name of the next episode too.
It probably is. It probably is. But I wanted to tease that a little bit because I didn't put it all together in my mind yet, and I didn't know how. I mean, we've already talked. God, how long have we talked? We need to put this shit to bed because the next one is going to be at least 2 hours long.
Oh,
because it's so fucking long.
It's a super episode.
You have no idea.
I haven't seen it yet. I watched it years ago, but I haven't seen it in at least a decade.
We're going to have to approach it from a different way because it's too fucking big. It's so much happens. But regardless, be that as it may, can we put this one to bed? Can we rank this fucker? I don't even know exactly how we're going to rank this shit because it leaves us wanting so much. We don't even know where we stand. Anyways, okay, so let's get there. We rank these episodes. You guys know it. You love it. We rank them on a on a 10.4 criteria scale, so we can come up with a language to discuss where they fit next to each other. And with the criteria we judge on our quality, guess how problematic it was, and the depth and breadth of the lives ruined. So let's start with the quality. What did you think overall? How did this one play to you?
It's so weird because it's an episode that there isn't really an analog for.
Yeah.
I mean, when do we have a cliffhanger like this at the end of a season? I really don't recall there being one at all. So, I mean, aside from the last episode of this last season, season 21, but that's a different thing entirely because they had 4 more episodes slated that they didn't get to shoot because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this episode's good. I think it's pretty fucking good.
I think it's solid. I mean, the only other cliffhanger episode we had was Intent. That was season 19, episode 8, which we covered in Is That Staten Island Slang? And that was an episode that had a kind of B plot tacked onto it that had a cliffhanger, but the A plot was wrapped up by the end of it. So the B plot.
This is all A plot, baby.
This is all A plot. There's no fucking B plot in this shit. It is hard A plot. and I agree with you. I think it's pretty good.
We have like maybe 2 minutes of B plot in this episode.
Yeah,
the little Amaro aside with his wife. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and that's the worst part of it. It really kind of drags it down, but you forget about it so quickly. Yeah, you forget about it real fast. I don't know.
I mean, I think this is pretty solid. I think it's probably like at least a 7, probably an 8, right?
That's what I was thinking, 7 or 8. Let's see, what 7s? I'm looking at 7s that we've done recently. Yeah. So Risk was a 7. That was season 4, episode 12. I have no idea which one that was.
I honestly have no idea what episode that was. Sometimes I think it's one we haven't edited, right?
Yeah, exactly. So let's go a little bit further back. So we said Hunting Ground was a 7. That was
I think this is better than Hunting
Amaro's Peculiar Sense of Smell. We also said Death or Christian Entertainment was a 7. That was Pretend. So
that one's really good.
That one was really good.
Pretend is really good.
The Rory Corkin, Mayor Winningham one was a 7.
Yeah.
I think it's in that range. I thought 7 makes sense to me.
Because of how significant it is, the ending you will never forget.
So let's see what we gave an 8 to. The only 8 we've given to is Payback. That was the very first episode. So I think it's an 8.
I think this is Payback, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is an 8. I like it. Okay, that makes sense.
Payback's the first episode.
Yeah.
And I think if we revisited that, we might drop it. But we're not going to.
No, yeah.
I don't want to think about that episode again.
No, and we've already, the one I just did, man, I feel bad about us, changing scores to fit our scoring system. It makes me feel unethical. But regardless, so guests. The guests are all good, but none of them are really standout, are they? Except for maybe Peter Jacobson. He really is the one that really leans into it.
I would say that Reggie Cathy's great, too.
Yeah, he
doesn't get to do much yet, but he's so...
great.
Oh, and Cassidy's fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
To have Cassidy be in an episode this much and have it be that good and have him be that good...
is definitely a standout, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So...
I think we're at least like 6 or 7, right?
I'm comfortable with 7 for this one, so I think it's better than...
No one's not doing the work. Like, Jacobson is going so far over that he's airing into camp, but it's still fun.
It's fun, yeah.
Any idea how Maggie got in?
I wish I knew. I called every escort I'd sent. They all swore they didn't know the girl, that she came with Anya Solar, and Anya hasn't called me back.
What does Anya look like?
Brunette, tall, tan, hot.
We're gonna need to talk to Anya.
You guys don't have her? Oh, man, that just sucks.
But so a 6 was the Brenda Blevin episode that we did with Clea Duvall and Mark Farrell, Persona. And this is better than that. So yeah, 7 works. The Becky and Baker, Connor Paolo Juvenile, which we did in Who's the Perfect Victim for a 90-pound tort perp. That was a 7. And I think it kind of is the same kind of vein. It's good performances that are fun.
Yeah, Rifkin's really good.
Rifkin's
I think it just kind of across the board, this one's strong guest-wise.
Nobody screws the pooch. Even Pippa Black's somewhat distracting accent is not nearly as bad as some that we've seen. Not nearly as bad.
No, not Connie Nielsen or Brenda Blevin.
No, not even close.
I mean, I just had a fucking 2-minute supercut of Brenda Blevin dialogue that we dropped into that episode because it was so bad we had to put it in there.
It's so bad. It's 3 different accents that she's wavering between. Oh my God. Okay, so how problematic was this? Because obviously there's problematic things. Emmy Warder is giving us details about the amount of semen in a 16-year-old girl's stomach.
And it being 20 guys worth.
The median is 20 guys. Median 20 guys. It could be on either end of that.
Yeah, but the minimum is still
the minimum
16
is 15
or something, right?
14.8. Yeah, 14.8 to 59.
Yeah. Anyway, so we've got that. We've got the whole element of anyone coming to the big city from Manitoba is going to get eaten up.
I feel like there's a better big city for her to go to. Why didn't she just go to Calgary, man? She could get into the oil business there,
Well, do you really just want to be boning roughnecks?
Hey, but those are roughnecks that are making a good wage. You got great health coverage. There's
I actually really love Calgary.
Sex work is dangerous wherever you go, but it's going to be considerably less dangerous in a country that has, nationalized healthcare, right? Where you can get good access to all manner of obstetrics and gynecological care in her case. I would just stayed at home. You don't even have to leave the prairie provinces.
Yeah.
Go to Saskatoon.
You've got the element of having to fight the power.
Yeah. I mean, there's a definitely allusion to this is like Epstein before we all had Epstein brain, right? Kind of.
Yeah, but I mean, he would have been a thing that everyone in the writer's room would have known about Epstein and his reputation. I mean, I'd heard of his sex plane, fucking years and years ago.
But it wasn't at the front of everybody's mind. I mean, some of these other kind of high-profile madams had been.
But with New York high society shit, it absolutely would have been.
It's true. I mean...
Fucking Trump was hanging out with him all the
Sure,
time.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, multiple presidents and Prince Andrew, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The entire upper management of Deutsche Bank. Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. There's a ton of fucked up shit in this episode.
There is.
A ton.
But is it on-screen problematic stuff, though? though? I mean, besides basically like what they do to the 16-year-old. Finn's comments about the poor assistant, dude.
That's super problematic.
So
That's
bad.
so fucked up.
So bad.
And no one calls him out on it. And then you've got Amaro as the violent-tempered cop who claims to respect women, but can't give his wife the autonomy to go through therapy. And I mean, to be fair, I think at this point, hasn't he found out that she cheated while she was on deployment or something? I think that's what Carissa's getting at there.
They're implying that. So are you saying that he's a Puerto Rican stereotype?
The savior complex, but doesn't really have the grounds to do that because he's his father's son, and his father was an abusive dick and violent-tempered, and so he's violent-tempered, but he claims to value women and to respect them and all that.
Yeah, he's a hothead, right?
Yeah. We have the obligatory, why are you making this life decision? When you were little, did you hope this was the life you were going to have?
Fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
I do like how Finn kind of shames him for not having fun at strip clubs. I thought that was funny.
And I think we both say that as people who are like...
I don't have that much fun at strip clubs either.
I don't have that much fun at strip clubs. I mean, Hong Kong is a different thing entirely. What the fuck is that? But yeah, strip clubs, there are a lot of douchey guys at strip clubs generally. Yeah, I'm not wild about them.
It's a weird scene. But at the same time, I thought that
I
was
have
funny.
had fun at a strip club.
In this case, did you find it to be problematic on the scale of SVU episodes?
There's like a lot, really like almost every 2 or 3 minutes, there's something that you're just like, Jesus Christ.
I mean,
there's that we've been conditioned by the show to view basically all sex that isn't like in a monogamous relationship as this thing that is to be looked down upon. And holy shit, do they spend a lot of time objectifying women in a way that is meant to make you feel bad.
Yeah. There's a lot of skin in this one. There's a lot of skin.
Yeah, a lot of skin. A lot. It's really wild. Anyway, I think there's a lot of problematic shit in this episode. That is fun.
Yeah. Okay, but I mean, 7?
We have to think about that old fuck governor dead naked on his couch. They put that in our brains.
I know, they sure did. And they dressed him up with his pants on backwards.
Yeah, and they go close, tight shot on his crotch with his pants backward. So we are absolutely forced to think about his dick there and again when
she talks about
the masseuse says that he was nice and quick.
Okay, that bumps it up a point. 8? Do we want to say 8?
I mean, there's so much. It's not hooked. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
But it's pretty pervasive throughout this episode. I think it's an 8.
What else do we have as a 10? We had the Paige Turco Diane Deal one.
Yeah, ridicule. But that episode's fantastic.
That's such a good one. 8. Okay, I like 8. 8 works.
Yeah.
8 works for me. And maybe I'm just biased because it's so weird to evaluate like Act 1, right? Which is what we're doing here. Or maybe Acts 1 and 2 if it's a 5-act structure, which I think it might be.
Well, I mean, they're all like 4-act with a cold open.
Yeah.
And then next week we've got a fucking, 40-act.
God, it's so long. It's so fucking long.
With a prologue and a prologue that we just watched.
Would you think it's a 9? I mean, for problematic, is it a 9? Do we have a 9?
Let's leave it at 8. I think 8's fine.
But we've never done a 9 before. Ridicule was a 10. So 8s for problematic have been the Stephen Bogardus, Torquil Campbell, Uncivilized.
Uncivilized.
That was highly problematic.
This is that problematic. Yeah. We're right. We're right at 8. This is not worse than Uncivilized.
Hunting Ground, which was really problematic. That was the serial killer, Long Island serial killer. So, okay, 8 works. Okay, so depth and breadth of lives ruined. And this is potentially hard to judge because we have one victim who's dead, but we have a lot of people's lives that are kind of maybe thrown into turmoil by this.
There are a lot more than one victim's dead.
Oh, okay.
Winnipeg girl. The Winnipegger?
Yeah, I'm talking about the Winnipegger. Yeah. But then I guess the governor is ruled a homicide. Yeah,
Carissa.
Yeah, you're a good point. Carissa.
The governor.
Yeah. Carissa, the governor, the Winnipegger.
Yeah.
A lot of fucking like Gaddafi, a lot of people's careers are thrown into turmoil through this one.
And we've got the big happening to a main cast member for the entire run of this show thus far.
Yeah.
There are only 3 of them on the show who have been on the whole run.
This guy was principal cast in season 1 of Law and Order, TOS.
He's been in this universe since 1990.
Yes, he sure has.
And he wakes up with a dead escort in his bed, and he clearly does not know how it got there.
Yeah.
The scale is so personal in this one that despite the amount of, there are 3 dead people are a lot of dead people still.
Yeah.
But for an episode episode of SVU that's not that unusual.
Yeah.
But one of them is in Cragen's bed, and he is therefore implicated in her murder.
He sure is. Yeah, he sure is. And
she was very clearly murdered. Her throat is slit clear across.
I kind of feel like makeup didn't do a great job with that throat slit. It didn't look that real.
Right.
They could have, gashed it more. They could have had some entrails spilling out. I don't know. I thought
effects were not great there, but whatever. Practical effects weren't.
Now, you're right. You're absolutely right. Also, they had been warned by fucking Ron Rifkin about staying away from this case, and kind of right before this happens.
But warned, and we haven't seen them continue to pursue the case.
No.
Really.
No.
From that scene, the only thing we have seen is Carissa walking up to Amaro after work outside of the police station, and then Cragen. So
we almost never have this. We never have a Dick Wolf where there's just a principal cast member is thrown into flux like this, and we don't know what's happening. So you're right. I mean,
this isn't just like, I might get a divorce. No.
Yeah.
This is, what the fuck? I have to beat a murder rap.
You sure do. Yeah. And what happened? Why is there a murdered woman in my bed? And
he clearly has no memory of anything.
Did I do it? Is the next question. Yeah.
And did I fall off the wagon?
Yeah. Which we'll find out. Yeah. It's a lot. It's definitely a lot. What else do we have? We have a war going on between there's definitely something going on in the world of escorts in New York City.
Yeah, clearly.
And
all of the comely escorts who are just trying to go about their daily business are caught in the crosshairs.
Seriously. Now, all of them were on camera, right?
Mm-hmm.
They might have dodged the security cam, but they didn't dodge the SD card that was turned into SVU, the 8 hours of footage. And neither did all of the, high-priced celebrities. Like, everybody knows which Winnipeg Jets goalie was at that party. People are going to be talking about it.
We've also got the clear dissolution of Amaro's marriage, which I don't give a fuck about, but that is another, that is like a factor.
We've got that poor fucking actress who had very few roles just get humiliated on screen by Ice-T, who normally I feel like
that's weird fallout that we don't normally have.
No, normally we think of Finn as being like one of the kind of more stand-up guys in the whole universe.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Not here.
No, not at all. Okay, yeah, you're talking me into it.
I think because of the immediacy of
the Cragen,
the insane ending, I think it's a 10, because we don't have these situations ever.
You're right.
And Cragen's as stand-up as any of them are.
Yeah, I mean,
he's just the good captain who doesn't fuck up and stands by his unit, but if they're about to go overboard on something, he's gonna fucking make sure they don't.
I mean, and it being a season finale means that you have to wait.
You have to wait months.
I mean, I would say that in some ways it kind of does remind me of an episode where we gave a 9. That was to Juvenile, the Becky Ann Baker episode, where that was a 9. Now the 10s that we've given out for that category were Hooked, which is a different scale.
There's an AIDS outbreak in New York because of that episode.
And then also Hunting Ground, which is the serial killer episode. And this gets
I don't think it's quite there, but maybe it's a 10, but it's at 9 at least.
Okay, so it's interesting because, of course, we've never had principal cast be involved in the Lives Ruined like this, right?
Well, except for, I mean, there's the obvious, like in Hunting Ground, they are involved. Amaro has just killed somebody, and Liv is going to presumably have some PTSD shit because she was held captive for a bit.
But I guess
this isn't as immediate and dire as Cragen's here.
Also, Hunting Ground, we gave it a 10 because of the, dozens of bodies that were buried on that beach on Long Island. Not because,
there were 16 victims, I think?
Yeah, and that's like where it got there. It wasn't necessarily because of Liv's situation.
Yeah.
This is definitely like gets there with Cragen. His life is really going down the toilet, and it's going to be going down the toilet for, spoiler alert, about the next hour and 20 minutes.
15 minutes?
Yeah, about the next hour and 20 minutes it's going down the toilet. Okay.
I think it's probably a 10.
I think it's
because
probably
of where
10.
we're left off.
I think it's
we
probably
both
10.
know that it gets resolved because everyone's seen episodes with Cragen after this. But from where this episode leaves off, it is a 10.
So this one gets to a really high mark then.
Yeah.
It is.
But this is like a Pantheon episode.
It's a good one. It's a really good one. And
especially this part. This part is probably, I haven't seen the second and third parts, But this part is clearly the episode that it's one of those episodes that everybody who's seen it remembers of SVU.
You can confuse it with the part one of the next part because, it's kind of starts where this one ended, where Kragen's waking up with the Carissa in his bed. And yeah, it's shocking. And there's few other things that are shocking like that in SVU. So right now, this is the second highest rated episode that we've seen. And I get it. This is a Pantheon episode. This is probably going to go down as the best Amaro episode that we see, if I had to guess. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. But it comes in at 8.25, 8.25.
That tracks. So it's just barely better than Ridicule. Wasn't Ridicule 8.125?
Yeah, barely better than Ridicule and still substantially worse. I mean, not worse, but under Hooked, which is still
almost a full. Isn't it almost a full point?
It's a full point under Hooked. Yeah. I mean, Hooked was outstanding. Highly recommend Hooked. Go watch that one. But this one was really good. This one was good. It was fun. It ends in a way that really makes you want to get into the next one.
Yeah. And you really want to watch the next episode. Like, I've held off for 2 weeks now, basically.
Yeah.
From watching the next part because I don't want to have to watch. It's so long that I don't want to have to watch it more than twice, and I don't really have the time.
Yeah. I would definitely plan ahead. Maybe take your notes over several watchings, or at least don't try to take notes all at once.
At least I don't have the recap.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. It might be a little long next week. It's already been a little long this week. Let's get out of here. We don't need to roll one, thankfully, for next week.
No, because everyone knows where this is going.
We know where we're going. We are going to season 14, episode 1/episode 2. It's called Lost Reputation. And guys, order a pizza before you watch it, because I started watching it thinking it was going to be, I was like, it's 2 different episodes, so I'll just watch episode 1 and then I'll come back and watch the episode 2 later. No, it's just the way Hulu has it is they put it all together as one, and that's how it was aired. So it's an hour and a half long, and it feels like it sometimes. So it's a long episode.
Since we're not having Bill and Ted welcome us into whatever the randomizer's chosen from us, guess we can reiterate the whole rate and review business.
Yeah.
Find us on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, I guess is what it is now. Find us there, rate and review us. Follow us on the social medias.
Follow Spotify, wherever.
I know there are other places. Wherever you listen, you can probably rate and review us.
Yeah.
Munch My Benson is our handle on Instagram and Twitter. We have a subreddit that you could also just listen to the episodes through the subreddit if you want.
Nice.
That's just r/Munch My Benson. Yeah, I don't know. We're all over everything.
Yeah. Sometimes we're actually good about posting regularly too. We're trying to be better.
I mean, I get everything posted. Yeah. I was like a week behind on Instagram. But we're also, you can tweet at us and we will answer. I get push notifications for everything that happens on Twitter.
Absolutely.
Definitely tweet at us. We will answer. And we have an email if you need to email us for something. It's munchmybenson@gmail.com.
Yeah. Let's call it there because I've got a lot of work to do to put together a fucking recap for this next one.
And I've got to find a way to take notes on a giant episode
You're gonna have to watch
working 90 hours a week.
Yeah. 3 hours of television. I would say maybe take notes as you go the first time. Just watch it over a few nights.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to. Yeah. I'm probably going to have to do it now and just start watching.
I'm just going to give you a warning, guys. It's different than watching a regular SVU because it's an hour and a half, and settle in, buckle up. It's not like watching TV.
Pour a drink and bring the bottle with you.
Yeah. Big time. I'll talk to you next week, Josh.
Yes.
See you then.
Munch our Bensons.
Please, liberally.
At least that makes me feel better. I'd hate to think hers was the last face he saw before he checked out.